it's outrageous, and the public need to be aware of this. The government should be ashamed of what they're doing. We've now got people stood on picket lines who want to save lives to try and make things better for everybody else.
Yeah, so I remember them saying, I remember the strikes happening, I was like, oh, are you involved in like, no, that's about back pay.
Well, the reasons for being here is twofold. So the main reason is the public care that we can't deliver because of the under-resources and under-finances that we've got from the government. We are massively understaffed, and when we get called to jobs, we're struggling to get there. You know, we're hearing constantly on our radios that there is emergencies outstanding and no one to go to them because we're either queuing outside hospital or we just don't have the staff to respond. The other reason is we've had 10 years now of austerity with no real term pay rises. We are constantly under inflation. And now I've got members right behind me and all over the UK that are returning to food banks and looking to other means to be able to pay the rents, mortgages and put food on the table. Oh, it's horrendous every single day. Every day's the same now. We sign on here and we go out and we never return. That might not be for a break for in 12 hours. You may be queuing up outside the hospitals. You may have just one patient in the back of your ambulance for that entire period of time. And then, you know, we're now starting to send taxis up to the hospital to relief crews to get them home on time or reasonably afterwards. So you could have done a 12-hour shift, easily going into 14, 15 hours with no food, no drinks. It's horrendous. And that poor patient is still sat on the back of an uncomfortable ambulance. It's not acceptable. And we welcome the safe levels coming from the government, because what I expect from the government is if they bring safe levels in on strike days, they do that every day of the week and not just when it suits them. These queues have been going on for years. They're just getting a lot worse. So where we used to queue for a few hours, now it can be 12 hours plus. You know, it's outrageous, and the public need to be aware of this. The government should be ashamed of what they're doing. We've now got people stood on picket lines who want to save lives to try and make things better for everybody else. It would not be here on a rainy day in the freezing cold weather. Absolutely not. We don't want to be doing this. We want the government to get round the table with a plan of how we're going to save the NHS and stop trying to privatise it through the back door, and make sure that when someone calls an ambulance, they get an ambulance. And our members and myself get a reasonable wage for what we're doing. We often get referred to drivers. We're not drivers. We're highly educated medical professionals, and we should be awarded for that. People think about the strike as being paramedics. It's not. This is a wide range of ambulance workers right across the board. We've got some people who are literally just scraping minimum wage. And research shows you can go and work at other employers and get at least a 20% pay rise. So the job now is becoming unattractable, and therefore we're struggling to retain staff, and that's why they're leaving. But yeah, we're all feeling the pinch. You know, whilst I'm stood here, I'm not being paid. So that's even further pain that we're suffering for being on strike. But we have to do this to make sure the government take us seriously and make sure that patients are safe moving forward, and we get a reasonable reward for the work that we're doing in respect to pay. I don't believe the government is listening, if I'm truly honest. The government that we've got now, I think they're more trying to save their face for the next election. So I don't believe we'll get any resolution with the current government. We just expect, you know, moving forward, that whoever becomes in power really does listen to the public sector workers and sorts the mess out. These people who are running the country are getting paid millions of pounds a year, and they get donors. But, you know, at the end of the day, that's politics, and I don't really want to get into that. What I'm more interested in is how we're going to save the NHS and how, you know, our members get a reasonable amount of pay for what they're doing, because it really is shameful on the government what they're doing to these staff, and myself as well. We put out about 50, somewhere between 40 and 50 private ambulances a day running around attending emergencies on behalf of the ambulance service. You know, that shouldn't be happening. You should be getting an ambulance with a qualified paramedic on it that works for the NHS under their terms and conditions, with a technician on board as well, or it could even be a double technician crew that's responding to you. We need to ensure that also in our control centres, those people are working for the ambulance service. They're the lowest paid staff in this organisation, but they're the most important, because they're the ones that deem, like today, whether that call is life and limb, and they are literally scraping cost of living wages. It's really, really shameful. On non-strike days, I would say no. You know, we are failing the public on a regular basis. You know, we'll be sat on an ambulance, queuing outside hospital, and you'll often hear our controllers say, we've got a Cat 1 emergency outstanding. That is the most serious call that we've got. And what we've seen when we do take strike action, those calls remarkably drop. We managed to put systems in place so ambulances clear straight away at the hospitals, and patients look like, and it appears that they're safer when we're on strike, believe it or not. But we need the government to take this really seriously now.
That's true. You know, you understand.